Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal Credit Union is a proud supporter of Navy athletics. I'm joined by the director of men's track and field and women's track and field at the Academy, Jamie Cook. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Both these programs have won every single Patriot League outdoor title since you took over in summer of 2017. How have they been able to just continue this run of success in the conference?
Well, every year is different. I think we start out with a focus of trying to, from two objectives, trying to beat Army and win the conference every time we get the opportunity. So, we've been very fortunate to have some success. We've established a pretty good culture. Been very fortunate to have continuity within the staff. I think that's led to a lot of our success. And the fact that we try to compete in everything that we do has led us to, the performances when they matter most.
What did you learn particularly at Oregon and then at Penn that you've applied to your time with Navy that's allowed this program to be so successful?
I was around a lot of really good people. I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to be a coach at like 22 years old. I was actually coaching some kids that were older than me on the team, and I learned a lot. I could relate to them, but at the same point, I had to hold them to a high standard. 10 years there was really, 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 really good for me. I coached all the events and was able to learn a lot about different personalities and backgrounds, and I was just kind of thrown into the fire. And then getting the opportunity to go to Oregon, where we had a lot of success, was under, probably one of the most influential people that I was there with was Jimmy Radcliffe, who was our strength and conditioning coach, who, I just learned so much from in terms of peaking at the right time and also just having fun with the process. So, that led me to this point. Luckily, Mr. Gladchuck gave me the opportunity to come lead the program here, combine the programs, which was very difficult at first. And now we're at this point. I'm 25 years in coaching, and it's been a pretty good ride.
You hit on AD Czech Gladchuk there. He recently announced that he'd be retiring. What has he meant to you and your continued success as a coach?
Well, I think we align in our principles and in doing things the right way, but also our unwavering, quest towards winning. And that's really brought us together. He understands what we need. He also understands, I think, what we do for the athletic department with being 6 stars and 6 conference championships, and we've won the majority of those. So I think he's been a big supportive of what we try to do, and also bridging of the men's and women's programs together has really elevated both the men's team and the women's team. So he's been unbelievable to me and my family, and I'm forever in debt to him.
You yourself being a three-time All-American at Penn State, do you think that maybe for some of your student athletes, it means more when Coach Jamie either gives them praise or criticism, and it forces them to push themselves a little further?
I would like to think that it does because I've been there. I think a lot of other coaches maybe haven't been at a really high level. Not to say that they aren't good coaches, but at the same point, when you can take your experiences and the lessons that you learned, maybe sometimes through your failures as an athlete and things that you did wrong that have led to, more wisdom. I think they understand that, but also, not that I've done it as much lately, but trying to also put myself in there and say, hey, if I'm willing to put it on the line, I think you can. And I think they respect that.
Not often you see a coach test his student athletes by putting them out there at Penn Relays the week before Patriot Leagues this week. What was the rationale behind that? And did you think that you accomplished what you wanted to before setting your sights on a conference title?
Yeah, a few things. I mean, you want to keep some rhythm with some of the events. I think it's important to keep rhythm. Also, it's kind of weighing that cost benefit analysis of getting our kids exposed to better competition, but also having to make sure that they're rested for the bigger, obviously for the conference championship. That's a big focus for us. So every athlete's slightly different. And, we had some people compete. We had some people rest. We didn't come back on the final day. We just want to make sure our athletes are healthy going into this week up at Holy Cross.
What gives you the most confidence that the Mids can come away with yet another outdoor conference title this weekend?
I mean, the confidence is that we go out there planning to have a good experience, prepared to execute the way we've been practicing, and just the effort piece, laying it all on the line when we need to. I think the kids understand what's at stake, but at the same point, like we talk about also having the opportunity to perform. And I think that's really, really important is the ability to want to perform in front of a good crowd, in front of your teammates, in front of parents, all the people who've supported you along the way.
Lastly, you've clearly set the bar in Annapolis for winning a Patriot League title, both in indoors and outdoors, each and every season. Do you want to see that bar raised, and where can it possibly go for this program?
I think, the focus is always going to be on the Star Series and winning conference championships. I think our sport is best when it's in a competitive format, when you're talking about dual meet, mano a mano, trying to get ahead and just beat the other person to the line or win by a centimeter. Those type of things are truly what's important in terms of our sport. You grew up racing from telephone pole to telephone pole, or can I jump over that creek, or whatever it might be. Like, that's the essence of our sport. So we want to keep that team format at the forefront. But at the same point, we want our kids to have success at the national level. And, we had a bunch of kids make the Olympic trials last year. We'll see how we do this year. I think we have some really good, talented kids, but I'm just excited to see how they perform as a unit, but also have the ability to take their talents as far as they can as it goes into, June.
Awesome. Coach, always a pleasure. Best of luck this weekend. We'll be rooting for you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Have a good day.